Alright, so for today's video, we are going to be taking a look at the Milwaukee Precision Multi-Bit Screwdriver. Now, this is meant for working with smaller electronics. I personally picked it up for doing low voltage control wiring, which is, thermostats and controllers. Now, this has 4 different bits. We'll get to that here in a minute. But to start off the video, we'll take a look here at the handle. So you do have some red plastic with the Milwaukee logo on it, and that is wrapped with some that harder rubber comfort grip style of material. Now, the one thing I do like about these multi-bit precision screwdrivers is the caps on the end do spin. So you can pretty much spin the screwdriver in your hand. You don't have to, turn it like that. The cap does spin, so it allows you to loosen and tighten a terminal. Now, the top of this guy is labeled, which is nice. I would assume over time, though. This one just kind of feels like it is printed onto the surface of the tool, rather than where some of the tools have the indent in the plastic and then they fill it in with the marker. This just kind of feels like it was printed on there, so I'm sure after some time and abuse, that white paint will come off. But like I said, it does have that spinning handle, which I do like a lot on the tool. Now, one thing that's a little bit different on this compared to the Klein version of this tool, which I do have right here. We'll take a look at that here in a minute. This is they do have some knurling up here, so maybe if you wanted to, get some grip down here, had to break a little screw loose or whatever, you kind of hold on to that. Or if you're holding on to it like this and you want to just get a nice tight fit, you could do that down there. Now, like I said, this is a 4-in-1, so you have 4 different bits in this tool right here, and you have the knurling on both sides, which is nice. So at this end of the tool, you have your Phillips number 0 and your 3/32. Now, this is my most used side of the tool. A lot of the thermostats and controllers that we use, it seems like where you're hooking the controls up is one thing, and then the controller is another thing. But it seems like almost all of them run either a Phillips or a flathead, or a slotted, I should say. And it's typically the number 0 or the 3/32 slotted that you're going to be using. Now, there are some instances where I have run into some smaller stuff. So you have your Phillips 00 and then your 1/8. I have never really used 1/8. I've really run into the 00 screws where it comes to on some of the thermostats that I've dealt with. Have these little tiny screws that hold the boards down on them. I'm trying to think. I think it's do a lot of White Rogers thermostats. They have sometimes the White Rogers thermostats have these little screws that hold the board down, and you got to take the little screws out to get the board out to fish the wire through. It's complicated, but that is what I mainly use the 00 for, because they're really tiny screws, and the number, just the standard Phillips 0 is a little too big for it, so that's where I use the 00 Phillips for that. So this is just basically Milwaukee's take on what Klein used to offer at Home Depot. You can see the design's almost relatively the same. The Milwaukee's a little bit beefier in the hand, where the Klein's a little bit more slim. The Klein does have a spinning cap here on the end, which is nice. And I'm not sure if this is the newer bits or if this one came in a kit. I'm not sure if this reflects the newer thermostat screwdrivers, but these bits are really long. On this guy. As you can see, they do stick out quite a bit compared to the ones on the Milwaukee, where, not so much of the bit is sticking out of the bit holder. So that's one thing that I noticed. And another thing I noticed on these newer Klein ones is the end caps. They didn't mark this one with white anymore. So that's kind of disappointing. But this is basically just Milwaukee's version of the Klein Tools screwdriver. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what's been going on at Home Depot, Klein Tools is basically getting pushed out the door. I'm not sure if Home Depot is going to still carry some Klein Tools, or if they're just completely phasing them out and just slowly replacing it with Milwaukee. But I was basically looking for, how I stumbled upon this is I was looking for another low voltage screwdriver, and I typically go and head over to Home Depot. I'm not really a big Lowe's guy, so I just went over to Home Depot to see what they had, and this was on the shelf. They didn't really have any of these left, if any at all, that I saw. So I decided to pick this guy up to see how it is, and so far I have to say I'm pretty happy with it. Pretty much does everything that I need it to do. It's just, like I said, it's Milwaukee's version of the Klein version of the screwdriver. As long as it gets the job done, that's all that matters. It'd be interesting to see if in the future that they sell replacement bits for it. I believe for the Klein, you can get some replacement bits for it. If that's what you're into. So if you do maybe lose one of these bits, you could just, you know, either go one, buy a new screwdriver. I believe they're like 12 bucks, or two, spend the money and get the replacement bits for it. But I'm not sure if Milwaukee is going to offer those, or if they're just, you know, once you lose a bit, break a bit, throw it away and just get a new, just go to the store and buy a brand new one. So like I said, pretty happy with this guy so far. It's nice to have two low voltage thermostat screwdrivers, just in case, you know, someone doesn't have one, or if you lose one or you misplace one, you always got a backup. So that's pretty much what this guy is for now. I've been using it more frequently than my Klein one, so actually my Klein's the backup now, and this is the one I use more frequently now. But with that being said, that's kind of all I have for this video. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. And I will try to leave a link to the product page on Milwaukee's website to this guy if you want to find out some more information. And I will also leave a couple links down in the description where you can purchase one yourself. Maybe check to see if your local Home Depot has one. But with that being said, that's all I have for this video.